Hello, hello. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Friday, November 25th, 2022. And here are some of today's trends in the news. The current events forming future trends. The only ones in the world that give you that. Because remember, the trend is your friend. And we're your friend because if you look at the mainstream news, check out the headline in the Cartoon News Network. Look at the cover they're putting up about what's going on over there on a Carnival cruise ship. This is the front page of the Cartoon News Network. Massive search turns up man who vanished. What the fuck do I care? One guy falls off his ship. What are there, 8 billion people in the fucking world, and you're giving me this shit? Oh, the mall whose Black Friday refuses to disappear. Why, that's racist, Black Friday. And we're changing the name of the Trends Journal. We're going to call it the Trans Journal. Yeah. They ran that fucking story about this guy that they can't find on his ship that they found him. Who gives a fuck about that? That's not news. And that's the scum crap they're shoving down our throat. Here, the toilet paper record. Nothing. You look at it, pictures, big fucking pictures of nothing stories, page after page after page, page after page after page, and you pay $3 for this shit. Look at it. Anyway, we're giving you everything we can. So if you want to know the trends shaping the future, subscribe to the Trends Journal. You go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. Here, this is the big story in today's Wall Street Journal, one of them. Iger is Boomerang CEO. Disney CEO joins select group of leaders who have returned to former companies. What the fuck do I care? I've been hearing about this fucking Iger shit for a whole fucking week. We are going into the worst socioeconomic and geopolitical crisis in modern history, and all they're feeding us is shit. And you know why? Because they're shitheads. Yeah. Prostitutes, media whores that get paid to put out by their corporate pimps. Yeah. Massive search turns up man who vanished. What the fuck do I care? But anyway, on the market front, the Dow was up today. NASDAQ was down. S&P down. Oil down. Gold up. None of it makes any sense. Absolutely no sense. Now they're talking about federal officials, official pieces of fucking shit. Officials. Who makes up? What am I in fucking kindergarten? How about some scumbag bankster official? This is the shit that they shove down your mouth. Official. Fed officials see smaller rate hikes coming soon. Minute show. What did we say in the Trends Journal? Going back a month ago, they're going to lower interest rates. They're not going to raise them as fast. They're going to keep propping up this phony economy. And again, you look at the facts. After every midterm election, 40 midterm elections, last 40 midterm elections in the United States, the S&P 500 climbed 15%. Does that have anything to do with the facts going on? No. Oh, the people are only $16.1 trillion in debt, but we won't talk about that. Federal officials said that let's see, as the minutes noted, the ultimate rate hike is probably higher than officials had previously thought. The fuckfaces said there was no inflation. It was temporary and transitory. And now in the fucking woke dead world, we'll call it transgendatory. Yep. At the September meeting, committee members had penciled in a terminal funds rate of around 4.6%. A recent statement has indicated the level could reach 5%. You go back a year ago, they said they weren't going to raise interest rates until 2023. All they're feeding us is what they feed us all the time. Official Yep. Because dollar headed for weekly loss as investors brace for slower rate hikes. So now the dollar it's at a 3-month low, but it's still high among most other currencies around the world. So expectations for lower interest rates, so the markets are going to go up. And you're going to start seeing a reversal in a lot of the negative trends. But New Zealand hikes interest rates to 4.25%. You know what their inflation rate is? Oh, same as America's, 7.2%. Yeah. So there you got it. And what's the America's rate? Is it 3.50? Is it 3.75 to 5? Their rate is higher than the United States, but they're right on the same page. But they're talking now, the ECB, about raising rates higher. That's all the talk. Your inflation rate in Europe is 10.6%. 10.6%. What's your interest rate? 1.5%. And they're talking this bullshit about OECD calls on ECB to keep lifting rates in inflation fight. You read Gregory Mannarino's article in the Trends Journal and talk about Feds raising rates in inflation fights. You know, Mannarino says it's basically, that is bullshit. Yep, official bullshit. Here, real wages are falling in many countries, slashing purchasing power. The OECD's blah, 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 blah. If inflation is not contained, these problems will only become worse. Thus, fighting inflation has to be our top policy priority right now. These fuckfaces were denying that there was inflation for 2 fucking years. That Lagarde, oh, if only a woman was in charge. Maybe she's not a woman because you look at her. You want to talk about facha brute, man. Whoop. Yeah, that queen got it, man. Oh, there's no inflation. You're full of shit, Salenti. There's no inflation. It's only temporary. It's only transitory. We're not going to raise interest rates. We're going to keep the fucking Ponzi scheme going as we're closing down the world to fight the COVID war. 8 fucking years of negative interest rates. 8 years. But the bigs keep getting bigger. They keep borrowing money for nothing. And they keep controlling we, the people of Slavelandia. Here's the bullshit spewing out of the fucking mouths of these crap heads that write this shit. You ready? In the latest forecast for the global economy, the OECD said it expects inflation to remain essentially stubborn in Europe. You ready? Following Moscow's decision to throttle natural gas supplies to undermine Western support for Kyiv. That is a total fucking lie, you fucking prick, Paul Hannon. They put sanctions on Russia. Russia wasn't going to cut off anything. That is a total fucking lie. But spend $5 a day, $5 a day to swallow Hannon's shit. It's a total propaganda lie. Calm down, Salenti. Be a good American. Swallow the shit. Line up, swallow the shit, get vaccinated, listen to everything that they tell you. Again, subscribe to the Trends Journal. $5 a day for this shit, $3 a week, less than $3 a week for the Trends Journal. The New York Times, $3 a day. And we're telling you what's going on, what it means, what's next, what to do, how to prepare, prevail, and prosper like nobody else is, because the trend is your friend, and we're your friends. ECB room for smaller rates limited. Yep, 10% inflation rate. So there's still inflation, the interest rates in the United States, in New Zealand, in Europe, they're still deep in negative territory when you put inflation into it. And the inflation numbers are much higher. You go to John Williams' shadow stats, America's inflation is like 16%. Bank of Korea reverts to smaller hikes amid growth. Fears. So this is, you see the message going on. We're giving you the world. There's a lot of problems going on. And now with China locking down again to fight the COVID war, that's why oil prices are going down. Sweden tightens the highest levels since financial crisis. They raised it to 7.75 basis points. And you know what their interest rate is? 2.5%. Sweden tightens the highest level since financial crisis. What's your inflation rate? Oh, 9%. You got a fucking 2.5% interest rate, and you got 9% inflation? And you're telling me you're raising rates? They're keeping the Ponzi scheme going. But don't worry, when all else fails, they take you to war. Need any proof? Turkey cuts rates by 150 basis points. Inflation's running at almost 86%. And they keep lowering rates. But they had that blow up over there in Istanbul. Istanbul means Constantinople. Yep. And now we're going to attack the Kurds. We're going to attack them in Iraq. We're going to attack them in Syria. Yeah. When all else fails, they take you to war. Totally out of control. And what else do we have here? Consumer inflation in Japan rises to the fastest pace in 40 years, and they still have low interest rates. Yep. It's the fastest rate of inflation since 1982. All right, what else do we have here? Ethics group seeks probe over trade. Ethics group. The legal filings were prompted a series of articles revealing thousands of federal employees at 50 federal agencies held stock in companies that were regulated by the agencies where those employees worked. All right. Grow the fuck up. It's not a government. It's a crime syndicate. The rich get richer. The members of the club get bigger. It's a fucking fraud right in front. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote. I'm a repulsive kid. I'm a Democrat. I'm really stupid. Yeah, look at your cover of your Trends Journal. Yeah, who'd you vote for? Democrats or Republicans? That's like voting for Bloods versus Crips, murderers and thieves. Big story in the Financial Times. Mood darkens in commercial property sector. Wow, son of a gun. Never would have known that. We only forecast this over 2 years ago, that there was going to be a steep decline in the commercial real estate sector as the work-at-home trend becomes part of the new world disorder. It's secondary office sector in the U.S. is uninvestable, not investable, but no one wants to finance it. You ready? Occupancy rates are half pre-COVID levels in the UK. They're not half. They're at 30%, according to Remit Consulting. 30%. You realize the businesses that have gone out of business around the world, they're 46%, 50% in the United States, 46% in Europe. All the businesses that depended on commuters, the dry cleaners, 30% of them are out of business in America. Shoemakers, the hairstyle, no happy hours anymore. Want to ride in the subway in New York City? It's worse than a night in Calcutta. And on to the Ukraine war. How's this for more bullshit? Zelensky vows Ukraine will thwart Russia's attack on power networks. This is an interview we did with Financial Times. He said with the Financial Times that there would be no lasting resolution to the war unless Russia withdrew from all territories it was occupying. Oh, yeah. They control over 20% of Ukraine now. Moscow has stepped up bombing campaigns against Ukraine's critical infrastructure since last month. Let's go back to why they did this. They blew up the Crimea Bridge and the Nord Stream pipeline. So they escalated, and Putin said, okay, you're going to escalate it, we're going to escalate it. We must return all lands because I believe that the battlefield is the way when there is no diplomacy, Zelensky told FT. Oh, you believe that the battlefield is the way? Hey, take off your T-shirt that you show up in all the time, put on your battle gear, and go lead the charge. This is mentally ill, that the battlefield is the way when there's no diplomacy. This is satanic and demonic, and it is the normal of the sick fucking shitheads running and ruining our lives in a country near you. A country near you. Russia launched 70 missiles against infrastructure targets across Ukraine on Wednesday, leaving some 80% of the country in darkness and without water. Oh, they're winning, though. They're winning, though. Yep. The infrastructure minister? What minister? Would you go to church? Is he a minister in church? The fucking names that they give these political clowns. Some cocksucker who sucked his way into a job that couldn't get a job in the real world. Some arrogant fucking prick called the infrastructure minister said they need several $100 million in aid in continuing budgetary support to urgently fix its power system. And now they're saying that this could lead to a dangerous escalation by Moscow, possibly even the use of nuclear weapons. No, we won't talk about it. Nuclear weapons, again, they're going to blow us to pieces. Don't care about it. Don't donate to Occupy Peace. Don't give money to the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice. Be a Bezos. He just gave $143 million to the homeless. We have the homeless solution. But don't give the money to us. No. Oh, and Buffett just gave his kids almost $1 billion, 700 and something million dollars for their foundations, but no money for Occupy Peace. No money for peace. Ukrainians told power outages likely to persist for months. Yep. But then you have another shithead shooting the crap out of his fucking mouth. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said Russian Premier Vladimir Putin, quote, can no longer win on the battlefield. That much seems clear. Clear to who? Hey, fuckface, clear to who? I just read where they're blowing up the whole fucking country. 80% of the people have no fucking electricity or water, and you're shooting your fucking shit out of your mouth, and everybody swallows it. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die. The Yanks are coming over there, over there. We're too fucking stupid to believe what we want to. We'll swallow their shit and we'll go over there. What the fuck is this crap? It's not only unbearable, but blatant violation of international law for blowing up these things, bombing terror. Quote, Schultz called for immediate end to Russia's, quote, bombing terror against civilian populations. It is not only unbearable, but a blatant violation of international law that Russia has been dropping its bombs against civilian infrastructure, not against civilians, against the infrastructure. Hey, Schultz, how many fucking Russians did Germany kill in World War II? Operation Barbarossa. Schultz, 25 million? Hey, how many fucking people and how much infrastructure did NATO and the United States destroy in Yugoslavia? Fuckface. Hey, how about America wiping out Iraq and Afghanistan? Where the fuck were you? You ballless little prick. Calm down, Celente. Be a slave like the rest of the shitheads. Look at the crap they put out. Look at the propaganda they sell, the hypocrisy. And they go on. There's been repeated attacks on the sprawling nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine, and they're blaming the Russians on it. The Russians are occupying the fucking thing, and you're telling me they're bombing it? No, but it's okay for the Ukrainians. Hey, what do you got, lockjaw? Schultz, you fucking bastard. And Merkel explains why she wasn't surprised by Russia's offensive in Ukraine. This is the former chancellor of Germany. She goes on to say, Merkel says she was not surprised when the conflict between Russia and Ukraine broke out in late February. The retired leader was speaking to Der Spiegel in a lengthy interview published yesterday. Quote, it did not come as a surprise. The Minsk agreements were eroded. That's right. Ukraine killed some 15,000 people in the Donbass region. The Minsk agreement that they violated, but nobody talks about that. But of course, we do, and we write about it. It did not come as a surprise, Merkel told the outlet. The Minsk agreement was eroded, referring to the 2014 ceasefire deal brokered by Germany and France. Quote, I wanted, together with French President Macron, to create an independent European discussion format with Putin through the European Council. Quote, I no longer had the strength to assert myself. She said they faced strong opposition from other members of the EU's top body. I no longer had the strength to assert myself. She faced the same problem on a farewell visit to Moscow, sensing she no longer had the ability to influence Putin, quote, for whom she said, only power counts. That's right. Only power counts, and the power freaks are in charge. But the United States announces another $4.5 billion for Ukraine. Isn't that great? Hey, keep stealing our money. Keep giving it to the military-industrial complex. Oh, Europe struggles with fresh migrant influx, pouring out of Afghanistan, pouring out of Ukraine. Keep the war going. It's fine. Everywhere I go, there are people sleeping in the streets. That's in Brussels. Fine. Yep. One after another. Tent sleeping bags have been common sight along the canal in central Brussels. Goes on, and we give you more and more in the Trends Journal, the whole Ukraine war special edition we put in each week. You know, this came out on Wednesday, late Wednesday, and this is the Thanksgiving weekend, so people don't really read the news. Vaccinated people now make up a majority of COVID deaths in the U.S. Or is this misinformation? And that's sexist. You can't call it misinformation anymore. Let's call it gender information. In a startling revelation, a Washington Post analysis has found that more vaccinated people are now dying of the COVID disease, and 58% of coronavirus deaths in August in the U.S., quote, were people who were vaccinated or boosted. And they sold us the fucking shit. That cocksucker, arrogant fucking prick from Pfizer, the drug cartel. 2 shots was all you're going to need, and it would have an 96% efficacy rate. Varied between 95 and 96. The details in your Trends Journal as it was happening. And then they said, oh, you're going to need a booster. And they said, well, we're not sure. We're not sure. That's how they sold the people. 2 shots. We can no longer say this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, said Kaiser Family Foundation Vice President Cynthia Cox. Oh, no? Oh, but they were saying that forever, that it was a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and you had to get vaccinated. And then you got this stupid, ugly, fucking out-of-shape, sloppy-looking prick who plays the Biden administration's coronavirus response coordinator, Dr. Ashish Jha. You look at this guy. Nobody talks about natural healing, vitamins, supplements. No, not allowed, not allowed. Only the vax that doesn't work, that's killing people dying from it. Again, that story came out in the Washington Post. And there's a lot more to it. Oh, older people were always especially vulnerable and now make up a higher proportion of the COVID fatalities than even before the pandemic, reports Scientific American. Yeah, no shit. We said that from the beginning. So why are you forcing young people to get the vax when it's mostly older people, people with type 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetics, obesity, and respiratory ailments? So this fuckface says, please don't wait. Get your COVID shot. Get your flu shot. That's why God gave you 2 arms. Could you believe this? What God you talking about? Who the fuck are you talking to? I'll tell you who we're talking to, Salenti. We're talking to the people. The people that haven't fucking left kindergarten and swallow our shit. Could you believe this? Hey, Ashish Jha, go fuck yourself. Not my God. You're Satan. And there's a lot more. Be in your Trends Journal. TrendsJournal.com. And again, subscribe to the Trends Journal. It's less than $3 a week. The toilet paper records, $3 a day. The Wall Street Journal's $5 a day. And nobody gives you the trends that are your friends. This is Gerald Salenti. That's some of today's trends in the news. Remember, tune into my podcast with Judge Napolitano. You got to check it out, man. It's really an important one. It's right on this site. See you soon. From COVID war to Ukraine war to world war. Are you prepared for what's next? These are unprecedented times. What's next? What's going to happen? Read the Trends Journal. We have an unsurpassed track record of forecasting history before it happens. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happens. From the world leader in trend forecasting.